Hello, Hathorians, and welcome to another episode of Leadership Forum. So we've just come back from Token 2049. I managed to catch Jan coming up to the end of the week following it. Jan, how are you doing? Are you refreshed? How was Token 2049 for you?
Yeah, very good. Recovered, a bit of jet lag, but now fully 100%.
Yeah, nice. I mean, for me, it wasn't so bad. It was like a 7 hour flight, left on Saturday, Sunday recovered, back to work Monday. But I know you guys had over 18 hours of travels. Marcelo and even Diego, a lot of travel and stopovers and such, but we've made it in the end. Everyone's kind of got back to normality this week. And we thought we'd just wrap up the week with a leadership forum. I know that it's Q4 next week, and it'll be good to just talk about all the recent things that have been happening over the last month or so. I know we have some updates for the community on some regular, frequently asked questions in the Telegram and so on. So we thought we'd get on here together, answer some of those, and also update on what's coming. So actually, the first thing for me is let's touch on the topic we just spoke on, Token 2049. It was one of the biggest Web3 crypto events of the year. The second installment. I actually went to the first installment, and I have to say that Singapore is the flagship event out of the two, and I did think it was way better than Dubai, especially because we had the booth there. So walk us through how Token 2049 was for you, what you thought about the booth, having a booth there. We also had Marcelo there, me, you, Diego. We had quite a strong squad, and we were doing a lot of testing. Tell us what you thought and walk us through how Token 2049 was.
Yeah, we talked a bit even during the event. Like now, it's quieter. That was I think the only bad part was like loud music all day there. But apart from that, like the event is massive. It's huge. I think it's the largest crypto blockchain event that I've ever been to. And being in Singapore, which at least for me, it's a very distant place and all that, also makes it a bit more interesting, let's say. And you have also a lot of influence of the Asian market. You have a lot of the Asian projects, which is something that more in the West. So obviously they're present, but being there, you see it much more, and which is a very important market for crypto. But yeah, it was really nice having the booth and having, as you said, the strong team because not only we could do the demos at our booth, but it could also go around and talk to the other projects and exchange a few ideas, make some contacts, and yeah, hopefully follow up in the next few weeks. But yeah, amazing. Looking forward to the next one. I'm not sure if Dubai or again Singapore, but we're definitely going to be there next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, you know, having Marcelo there, yourself, Diego, it was a really good mix of people. I mean, for myself, I'm the head of community, so my job is just to network and actually do what we do online, but in person. So for me, and I know for you as well, whenever I had more technical questions, you stood in and you kind of explained things I couldn't explain. And for me, showcasing the betting blueprint and also liquidity pool, those finances decks, we had this strategy of actually everyone that came was part of a project. So for those that don't know, Toga 2049 is basically the attendees are from projects, and then the projects are representing themselves at booths. And the tickets aren't cheap. If you get an early bird ticket, they're $500, but they go all the way up to 1,000, 2,000, and so on. So the quality of attendees there are high. So every demo you're doing, it could be for someone from a project, it could be for someone from Fireblocks, it could be someone from, Chainlink, whoever it may be, but someone of significance was coming over and actually going through the demo. And then you kind of do the exchange of here's the demo, but then the networking opportunity as well. So we got to meet a lot of fun people during the demo. We done a lot of demos, so that was awesome. But yeah, agreed. It was
I think I think you're the one that did most of the demos. I think you're the expert on the demos, and
no,
that was. I
I'm
mean,
gonna
I did a few demos definitely, but and I think apart from the main event, what's interesting is all the side events
yeah.
going on around the main event, and also you get to make a lot of good connections there on a more, let's say, chill environment without kind of that. Let's say the kind of work environment, even though everyone was there for work. But yeah, it's really huge. I think there were more than 100 side events, right? It's something that's crazy.
Loads. And actually, I agree with you on the side events. I feel like it's business as usual at the event. People just want to fast pace, make a connection, establish the connection, and keep it moving, right? But at the side events, I think, for example, I think we went to the the Aptos event. I think that side event for me was probably one of the most successful side events. And if I measured it against actually networking at the booth, it gave us the same quality and almost the same amount of leads. But you're talking to people for a longer period of time, and they actually remember you, and they're in a, like you said, they're in an environment where they're relaxed and so on, and you actually get good quality conversations. So I couldn't agree more. But yeah,
Yeah.
Token 2049, I think it will be good. So I know there's another talks of other events and so on, but we do really feel like the strategy of these events to be more Web3 focused is where the quality is. So that's great to hear. So moving on to another thing, I actually want to talk about nano contracts and a few other things, but I just wanted to pick your time on this one, yeah, and just a quick one. It's surrounding tokenomics. And recently, our API was updated on, I think it was CoinGecko and CMC, uh, and the tokenomics is now live. But I just wanted to ask you a couple of things, and also based around if you can talk about the token unlocks and what unlocks mean and how frequent they've already been happening on Hathor. Could you just touch on the why the update happened now and why it's significant or if it isn't significant, and also the token unlocks that happen quite frequently?
Yeah, sure. We did it now because it was honestly outdated, and we have to do it. And now we're going to do it every 6 months. We have a process in place, so it happens every 6 months. But what's important here, I think, is that nothing changes, right? It's not like there was a update on tokenomics. I mean, we updated the document, but the content is pretty much the same.
Yeah,
We didn't change any of the unlocks or the amounts for any category.
yeah,
So. I mean, I think we did remove the staging category for regulatory reasons, but I mean, the tokens were shifted to different categories, but the unlock, it just remains the same.
cool.
So, in that sense, nothing has changed. And as you mentioned, these unlocks, they are happening ever since we, actually, not when we started. The first unlock, I think, was December 2020 when we first were listed. And they happen every 6 months. So I think December 2020, then June 2021, December 2021. I mean, it's been happening for the past 2 years. And I think a lot of people, yeah, I've seen on Telegram, they're kind of worried what's going to happen. 180 million, I think 180 million tokens release. And to be honest, I mean, I don't even know the exact number because I'm not looking into it. We are way below what we can spend. We have, I think, even over 200 million tokens unlocked, let's say, that's from what we use that we could use right now. So it's not like, just because we have an extra 180, we're gonna do anything different. And so far, we've been very cautious about, spending the tokens or anything like that. And again, this is just business as usual in this regard. Tokens unlocked that have been happening for the past, almost all the time since we launched the mainnet, and there's nothing different there.
Amazing. No, I appreciate you giving such transparency on that. And look, just to summarize what you said, guys, the tokenomics have not changed. An API
Yeah.
update happened. The schedule is going as it was determined when it was first released. Nothing has changed, as Jan just mentioned, just a shift of staking and a couple of those things. But in terms of unlock amounts, dates, it's all the same. And for the upcoming unlock, which has been quite a common conversation on Telegram over the just last couple of days. It's been happening for the last 6 months. So I've never seen anyone talk about a June unlock, for example, or a July unlock. And we've just gone
Yeah,
past
it
that.
happened 3 months ago, basically the end of June.
And now, of course, it's coming to December and so on. So, and I think a lot of these conversations come into play when, market conditions shift, community members come back, and you commonly see people, I need to update my wallet and so on, because people, they come back to Telegram after some time and they're here nor there. So, guys, that is an update from Jan on that. Jan, I appreciate you giving some light on that, but we'll get back on track onto all the exciting stuff happening on Hathor. So, the next thing I want to talk to you about is nano contracts, right? And it's the nano contracts public testnet and what's happening in Q4 with marketing and so on. So with nano contracts public testnet, I'd rather you say, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that we've done a lot of testing in a public environment, and you guys have been working extremely hard to make it sure that the app, we've done test flights, testing with test flight on iOS and Play Store and so on. You guys have recently deployed more than two, three, four versions, I believe, of Hathor Play on iOS, you guys are constantly updating, and I know that testnet comes with updates and even updates post testnet. Can you walk us through what's happening with public testnet in terms of what we can expect soon, and also yeah, everything Nano related up until the end of the year.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're a really good place in, in terms of the technical advances of testnets. As you said, we did a lot of public testing. I think you, more than anyone else, you've done so many demos, and it's been working on the testnet. And basically, what we're gonna do is, to be honest, the testnet is, I'd say, almost public because it's not like there is any VPN or any access control for it. It's just that we haven't made public just the URLs. But yeah, everything that we've been demoing, Token 2049, you did the recorded the video of how it worked, also our betting and also dozers. So it's all happening on the testnet that we are gonna make public. So, in technical terms, it's almost there, I'd say. As you mentioned, there are updates, and we plan to make obviously a lot of updates after it's been launched. It's not like just the first version of release is just gonna be the final definitive one. As anything, any system, even any blockchains, you always have improvements and new features that we want to add. So we're going to have let's say, a set of features when it's launched on public testnet, then some other features that we're going to add before mainnet, and then even after we add on mainnet, have nanos on mainnet, we're going to continue obviously improving and adding more and more features and improvements. Um, so yeah, in that sense, the tech part is it's pretty much solved, pending just a few items. I'd say the more challenging parts, let's say, they are out of the way, and yeah, now we're just working on the more marketing business side, on kind of community incentives plan that's we want to do for launching Nano Contracts very strong in Q4.
Amazing. Yeah, guys, thank you for touching on that, Jan. Like you said, I had done a lot of testing, and it is basically almost there with public testnet, apart from URL changes and so on. But with public testnet, guys, once it does go live, there will be common updates, as Jan said, coming after. And I believe Q4 is the time where, alongside an announcement, we have to do some of these initiatives to onboard the wave of community members, developers, and bring the awareness out when it comes to what's happening for the launch, how we're going to launch it, and how we're going to get people buzzed about it. And how, main thing is how we get people testing it as well alongside our loyal community. So really looking forward to that. So yeah,
Yeah, I
Nano,
forgot again, as always, a shout out to those are Finance guys, amazing product, like everything worked flawlessly on Token
flawless.
2049. It was really great to have their platform there for demoing.
Definitely, yeah. Those are the guys are great there. Honestly, I love the betting blueprint, but my favorite is the Dozer finances decks. I've tested that every single phone. I've battle tested that, honestly. And also I wanted to give a special shout out to Cathor as well, who joined us along
Ah,
the
yeah.
way on in terms of basically, because look, we all know that the meme culture is a big thing over this last year. The narrative last year may have been AI, this year it's definitely memes. And actually, we have one meme token minted by yourself, Jan, and it's Cathor. And they're such a great team. They've always been consistent with their communication, their everything that they do. They do so independently, and it was great to have them on board. And the special use case we announced during Token 2049 was meme token creation to turn into liquidity pools and add liquidity and so on. So the whole meme generation and creating tokens instantly stemmed from the fact that we had a great coin on the meme token on the network, one of the first tokens minted. So yeah, thanks Cathar as well as Doza. Doza created their little cone meme as well, which is quite cool. So yeah, thank you guys, and we look forward to updating you all on Nano Contracts, public testnet, and what is coming in Q4 with how you can get involved. So we're really looking forward to that. Now, Jan, moving on to the second half of this, just a few more topics I want to kind of run by you. One is SideDAGs. I'm going to let you talk about SideDAGs. SideDAGs, recently, we got I believe it's the node or the wallet ready for SideDAGs. And actually, we thought, okay, but not many people know what SideDAGs are. Tell us what SideDAGs are, and I believe it may even have a new name. I'm going to let you take the floor with that one. What can we expect with this technology, SideDAGs? What is it, and what can we expect?
Yeah, as you mentioned, there's we've been calling nowadays Upchains. I think it's a name that's more consistent even with the whole the market. There are other chains as well that have, I'd say, similar products. Side Upchains actually,
Yeah,
they are parallel chains. Let's say they are separate from mainnet. So
yeah,
all the transactions they happen in a separate network. In that sense, you have more flexibility. You can have privacy. Depends, this separate chain can be public, it can be private, it can be permission. You know, you, the person, let's say the company, the enterprise that deploys it, they have full control over it, how they want to deploy it. They can even have, let's say, special status, so they
yeah,
can have, do some special operations. But this separate chain, there are some special transactions, let's say, that they live both in the main network, the public network, and the side chain. And those transactions, they're responsible for, let's say, the immutability,
yeah,
for making sure that, you kind of pass all the proof of work that's done on main chain, by merge mining. All this proof of work is passed on through the app chain, the separate chain. So the transactions can be immutable. So it's I'd say not only for more corporate use cases that they require
yeah,
privacy, but also for use cases where you may want to have kind of different business rules in
sure.
terms of the blockchain. We know that a blockchain usually is you don't have a lot of freedom in what you can do with it. We have a very particular set of rules that you have to follow. So, with a side chain, you can have a bit more flexibility in the features that you can have and all the operations that you can have. So, I think especially for corporations, it's a great way to start exploring the blockchain because I mean, if you're in a public blockchain, you're there, everyone is seeing everything, and it's final. It's kind of there's no turning back. Let's say with a side chain, sorry, with an app chain, it's a bit different. You have a bit more control. You can experiment a bit better with it and have your own business logic applied to it.
Amazing. Oh, thank you for giving us that overview of upchains, formerly known as SIDAGs or SIDAGs upchain. And you touched on the fact that on privacy, private blockchains and permissionless, that narrative is actually quite common, and you see a lot of chains talking about privacy on chain. And like you said, like many use cases and more from traditional finance or in general, people want this type of functionality when it comes to choosing a chain of choice. So I think it'll be very cool, and I'm looking forward to sharing some more information to the community on how it develops and more documentation on upchains very soon. But thanks for giving us that overview on upchains, and we look forward to. There's lots of exciting things coming aside from nano contracts. It feels like the whole narrative has been nano, but actually, you need things like upchains with nanos. You need all of these things to work. They're just all part of branches of a tree. So awesome. Thanks for giving us that overview on upchains. So moving on, and this is for another branch of the tree. We just spoke about upchains, nano contracts, and now we want to talk about the EVM bridge, something that's been also a talk of the topic over the past few months. Something that is quite bullish. People love the fact of interoperability with other chains and sharing our attributes with other users and bringing other users from other chains. We could see that the Dozer Finances platform is a really cool gateway into DeFi. It works extremely well. It looks like a leading DeFi project like any of the others on any other chains. And then you talk about an EVM bridge, it makes sense. Um, any updates with the EVM bridge, Jan, based on our last call?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, we had deployed the testing environment for the bridge. Uh, did some tests, learned a few things. Let's say, went back to development, made some changes, and started testing again. And so far, all the tests I believe have been positive. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna continue a few more tests before we can, let's say, I think make it a public testing, put it on a test net. Because so far we've been doing private testing, and then next step public testing, and then after a few weeks or even a month there, we'll probably go for the mainnet, which is, as you said, is going to be very exciting to be
Absolutely.
able to bridge some tokens from EVM chains to Hathor.
Well, like it's quite mind blowing because like even the public testnet could be quite is next, and you said you're now going through your second phase of testing, and you could see like sometime next year everything will be on mainnet. We'll have a bridge on mainnet, we'll have nano contracts, loads of things like possibilities are quite. Does that seem quite right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what I'm thinking now is like, especially the event bridge. It was really fun when they were showing me, the testing going on. And I mean,
Sure.
obviously, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, kind of under the hood, but it's interesting. You see like a token being sent on Ethereum, and then shows up on Hathor, kind of shows up, right? And to be honest, it's something that I've seen a lot of other, not other places, but I mean, happening in Hathor, it's something very interesting. And when you start to think about so what it can do, so yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Well, it's funny you say that because I felt the exact same way when I was just testing with fictional tokens on Dozer Finance's platform.
Yeah.
Like swapping USDT with HTR and then minting a meme token and then even swapping that with HTR. For me it seemed so real, but then the fact is, in the near future it will all be real, and it's cool. It's so cool with everything lining up. You don't expect it, because these things are in development and they start as like an idea, and then you realize months go by and they all become quite tangible and real, and then it's kind of like, oh, they're here, and it feels like we're approaching that moment now. So yeah, looking forward to it, guys. That's another branch of the tree, EVM Bridge. Jan, thanks for giving us an update on that. And then, yeah, to wrap up the call, I just wanted to talk about Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, we can call it. It's something that the community been asking for a long time, and we're thankful when we were at Paris Blockchain Week, we built that main partnership with Token.com. We've had a really close relationship with them ever since. They've got such a great team, mainly based out of UK and other regions as well. But they're a really progressive team. Their marketing, everything is great about them, and they actually invited you for a Twitter Spaces, and I believe it was probably one of your first Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, and yeah, like how was Twitter Spaces for you? What do you think of the idea? How was it networking with like other people on a live forum on Twitter? Like, how did you find Twitter Spaces? Where do you see a value with it?
Yeah, definitely, because it was actually my first X
Sure.
Spaces or even Twitter Spaces. Um, And, I done a few other, not presentations, but debates, podcasts before with other, live guests.
Yeah.
But with X, it's different because we know that the crypto community is it's mainly on X and Telegram. But for this kind of show, let's say, X is the way to go. So it's been very interesting to do that. There was some good audience and some very good. The host as well, and also the other guests. And looking forward to doing a bit more of that. And I guess you also have some
Yeah,
something like that lined up,
definitely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from us joining that and speaking with Token.com, they were really keen to actually do more with us. So we're actually going live with our own Twitter Space series. So Token.com and Hathor Network are going to co-host one, and we're going to invite guests. Actually, Jan, you're going to probably join a few times as well, and so on. It will be mainly me hosting, but it will be cool to network with other Web3 protocols and projects. And I guess, you know, where we were a couple of years ago or a year ago compared to where we are now in terms of we've done extremely well in traditional finance and in terms of the use cases that we've had developing. But in terms of the gateway into Web3 as an additional branch to our strategy, we're now getting all the tech ready. We're now wanting to build these partnerships in the crypto ecosystem and build out the Hathor ecosystem. And I think Twitter Spaces and having our own series and inviting guests from other projects and talking about relevant trending and relevant topics within the space is awesome, because it now means instead of us giving our view on things like traditional finance and real world assets, which is still very important topics within the space, we could talk about everything else and things outside of Web3 or linked to Web3. It could be that we talk about presidential campaigns, or we talk about a Black Swan event, or we talk about many things. And I'm not very well versed. I think I'm versed in some aspects, but it's going to be a learning curve for me. But I can't wait to just talk about everything because I love talking. So it'll be awesome to bring in. You never know. Like for me, bringing on a use case from Ethereum, for example, to talk about, uh, uh, you know, it could be like weather conditions. It's just another opportunity for us to showcase Hathor to another community because how Twitter Spaces works for those that don't know is when you go live on a page, your whole community is notified on Twitter. So if that's happened to you and it happens to token.com and then we bring a guest from another protocol, all three of us are now live sharing our community. So I'm looking forward to all the cross community engagement that we're doing with new faces, new members, talking about nano contracts, talking about our novel architecture, all of our great attributes and bringing on the next wave on community members and networking with the next wave of projects as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. There's just a few topics that we could touch on. We really wanted to get this out to you before the end of the month. And Jan, I appreciate you talking about tokenomics. We talked about nano contracts, upchains, and the EVM bridge, all the branches to the Hathor network tree, which all sound extremely well. And then we talked about our upcoming Twitter Space series, which will be happening, I think, bi-weekly or monthly, but consistently. So there's a lot coming, and I believe we're saving a lot more for the next one as well. So, guys, that's it for now. Jan, any parting words?
No, again, thank you for hosting here, and I'm looking forward to your Spaces series. Not only for being there as a guest, but also to see all the guests and topics you're going to debate.
For sure, me too, me too. And look, if you guys want to get involved, you're more than happy to reach out to us. We'll invite you as a guest. And look, interoperability, friendship, everything is key in this industry. For us to grow, we need you guys. We need other projects. And rest assured, I'm very bullish on what's to come and how we are meeting new people, new faces, and our entrance into Web3. So really pleased with that. But Jan, it's a pleasure as always. I'll probably see you. We have a call after this anyway, so I think we've got 10
Yeah.
minutes to catch some water. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. But guys, until then, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Ciao.